Alright, in this video I wanted to revisit the Nightmare Queen armor. When it was first released, I was just basically using it to stack different elemental vulnerability elements and seeing what all it could do, and that's fun. But since staff now allows fear and daze statuses to be inflicted on bosses, what was once maybe meta years and years ago to just stun shit to death, now you can use those statuses. You won't be able to stun the monster. You can inflict it, but the monster bypasses the turn skip. But instead, you can use it to eat statuses, or in some cases, like Nightmare Queen, whenever it causes the monster to miss a turn, it triggers a poison. And oftentimes that poison is enough to fuel voidforge. And I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about here. So basically you have this toggle here, so I'll turn it off. So you have the options to do fear, LE Vuln. Wish you could do both at the same time, but I'll do that. And then you need to turn this on. The first one's 157 per turn, and then or you get basically double potency at 314 per turn. So you're going to want to be able to replenish your SP pretty regularly with this. And so you're going to have fear inflictions from the armor, and then hopefully you've stocked up on gear that inflicts fear also, so you can stack some ideas. And then you're going to just hopefully get some resource replenishment, and then you can actually change that over to fuel voidforge. So what I'm going to do here, let's go ahead and change. So I got light at 120, so let's go ahead and, just for the sake of it, let's do arcane amp for better infliction and accuracy. And then I'm going to use Queen Mother Scepter. This is from Mother's Day shop, I think. It's a built-in spell that does fear. So we've got that, and so that combines to 4 rounds at 48%. So we'll see what happens. So the monster went this time. So this next one, and by the way, this armor has initiative, and that means that the pet gets plus 50% damage that first turn. So that first heal, if you notice, I healed back my entire, so okay, it was the 653 plus the 150 something from my guest. And then if you notice, I have the whole thing back. So initiative armors can really boost your pets. Spellcaster Lean armors, I think, are great. Beast Mage armors also. So let's do this again. We should get a pretty decent amount of fear. So now I have 77.7%. And so the monster actually won again. So we do have a little bit of a poison here. It's only at 6.17. It will actually, like as you can see, I'm already at the ability to use voidforge. But one of the things you can also do is use Jalek's Panic Reaver. So it will eat a full turn. So we're at, the fear is 86.3 at 2 rounds. So we're going to have a BTH boost and hypercrit. So that was a hypercrit at 5, and the BTH boost is 7.56. And now we're only down to 1 round at 86.3. In a lot of ways that might actually help. But what I'm going to do here is go ahead and let's see here. So we have an voidforge imbue. Now I brought in my weapon-based built-in skill and voidforge that has some hypercrit attached to it, and basically your fear fuels it. But I also just inflicted more fear. Actually, it resisted that time, I see. So what we can do is then start over. So Nightmare Queen basically uses its fear ability to fuel voidforged. Here's another idea. You have your Moonlit Predator tablet in any water spell. So of course it's going to pull a water monster, so let's go ahead and change that up. So I'm going to go ahead and, this is actually a poison spell, so I'm already going to get voidforged here pretty quickly. And then it didn't go. Only had a 14% chance of skipping, but it actually worked that time. And then again, just consume your poison. And I could have eaten that fear, but that fear was only 14%. The amount of BTH boost and hypercrit that you'll get is actually based on what the fear percentage is. So like this right here, it's just 20.6, as you'll notice here. It's only a 1.96 and only a 1.81. So to me, at that rate, it's probably not even worth messing with. There's also the Pumpkin Caster Staff as a built-in spell, similar to, I think it's a 4-hit spell instead of 2, similar to the Queen Mother Scepter. And then again, the Moonlit Tablet with any water spell will do it. My favorite thing, though, I think, is using the Vengeance of Nulgath Arsenal, which will do a burn and fear, but then actually casting this spell here, so that'll give my entire side of the field celerity. It gives another turn. Then I go ahead and just cast this guy and get some panic and burn going. Help make sure FaZe has enough to eat on this turn here. So as you can see, it was like over 1,000 MP heal with that plus 50%. If I were to use Foam Finger on pet mode, it would actually be plus 100%. So basically you get double damage if you decide to do that. Let's see, make sure I'm still, yeah, it's not on. Go ahead and do this again. So now we've got fear starting to stack up. So we've gotten basically 4 separate inflictions. I think after this turn right here, it should be good. Actually, it's already glowing. Go ahead and swap. And you don't have to use Cephalolast, you can use something else. Or you can even swap to a different armor. One that like Wingweaver or something that's it's going to also give the Ellie comp on top of the imbue. You can also do stuff like, for example, and I don't have it here. Let's see, I'm going to swap out. This one's actually really effective also. So what I'm going to do this time is swap this guy out for this guy. So the Sovereign Rain weapon actually has 2 modes. You can either inflict paralyze or control. And then the shield actually has a potency to both. It paralyzes for 152. Or 178. It strikes themselves. And that is with the use of energy spells. So I'm actually going to do this fear spell here. So basically we have the 54% fear. And as you notice, one turn and it's going to be enough for voidforge. I'll show it, as you can see there. So we're going to have fear, but we're also going to have I'm not real sure why it's not inflicting anything. There must be a bug going on. That, or it's one of those weapons that has a messed up toggle, like it tells you it's on one mode, but it's really not. Let's see what happens here. It's kind of weird. It's not 500. Oh yeah, the cost scales on that weapon with the element. You can even use fear pets and guests, so I'm going to do fear here. Let me change this. Too many damn clickable things going on. And that's part of the reason why this armor, I think, is pretty good. So this should result in some pretty good sized fear, because darkness is 200%. So if 86 and it actually went there. 91%. And you should be able to just basically perpetually do this. Hypercrits are up to 8.9. So as you can see, you can utilize fear, pets and guests, and there's a few, and then just eat a turn and just rinse repeat, and you're causing a monster to skip its turn while you build up your hypercrit. I'm finding that you can essentially combine all these ideas. You can start off with if you wanted to run fear, you can run werewolf armor, even though people would tell you, oh, that's for warriors. Well, just carry one to get you some fear. Actually, didn't even take, looks like. So let's just do this. They do have a charisma weapon called Blasphemer that will do fear on just attacking. So we already have 77, 83, 94%. So we already have enough to fill void. Just do this over and over, and you should be able to wipe out most monsters pretty simply enough. But I just want to show how fear playstyle, at least with that armor, can translate over to using voidforge pretty easily because of the mechanics of the turn skip turning into poison. Now, I'm beginning to think it might be a good idea for the summer donation contest to actually do something similar to the Nightmare Queen. It doesn't have to necessarily be spellcaster lean armor, but maybe instead of fear, it uses daze. That middle skill, it could be like a copy of that thing, but except for daze, you would be able to inflict daze on spells and attacks. And then maybe you could just do some different things from there. Some of the other items in the set could maybe eat days for different ideas, whether it be damage or other things. But I don't think there's any items that eats days in the game. But since days and fear can be inflicted on bosses now, might be a good idea to come up with some ideas with that status and breathe some life into it. But that is it for this video.